Necromancer used to be the slowest character, but now with the mid-season update changes, movement speed is through the roof, and we're having a return of vampiric powers, plus the Gauntlet is only tier 70. This allows for quite some changes in our skills and equipment to overall make an even more powerful character than ever before. Did I mention that we're finally getting a huge amount of armor through our skill tree as well? Might not even need Disobedience or Juggernaut anymore. Let me present you the changes. We're currently in the Nuclear Necromancer, the best Necro that will be there with Black River and Bone Spear for the Gauntlet. So that's going to be the true number one. But what needs to change now about this build? We're having the Death Reach passive. This one gives damage to distant enemies, and it's going to be changed to movement speed. Just that. 4, 8, and 12% movement speed. You can also get this on the amulet. With 3 more ranks in the Death Reach passive, that would be another 12% movement speed, together with the additional 26% you can anyways have on an amulet, making you plenty fast. My problem being though, how do I even get this in? Because right now I don't have any points left to push into Death Reach. Now, considering that my bot does breaking support, so he would actually give us vulnerable, there might be an option to outsource 1 point out of the plagued corpse tendrils. And technically, since our Decrepify is already doing the slow, we don't need the enhanced corpse tendrils as well. So we merely need the corpse tendrils to do the corpse tendrils, to do the stun. That would be fine already. That gives me 2 points that I could put in Death Reach for another 8% movement speed. And then, yeah, we're kind of like short of points. Ultimately, I guess we would have to take 1 out of Grim Harvest because our resource generation is high enough. 4 or 6 should be okay-ish, as we're going to be returning to a fan favorite. And that is going to be T-Bolt's Will. Why can you play this again? Well, rejoice, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting the Metamorphosis, however you pronounce that, excuse my German, Vampiric Power back as a boot enchantment. Yes, get 3 evade boots and you'll finally be able to dash unstoppable 50 resource, dash unstoppable 50 resource. Every resource problematic we have fixed. Now, considering that we get that 50 resource constantly, Grim Harvest can probably be marked off. Now on top, spiked armor is changing to give us 15% armor. Yeah, 15%, just like that. A whole total armor roll on equipment. Now for the Gauntlet, this will absolutely not be needed. If you're pushing tier 100 dungeons though, or even while leveling, especially when you swap from world tier 3 to 4, spiked armor might become one of these must-haves. For example, during leveling, the Decrepify is more or less useless. You're not using Decrepify while leveling until you're kind of level 70, so 80 maybe. And these 3 points could easily just reside in spiked armor to boost your armor by 15%, that when you're swapping world tiers and getting more equipment, that you're finally at nice armor values, because 13.5k is what you need for tier 100 dungeons. But for the Gauntlet right now with tier 70, my 8,000 armor might be more than enough. I do have Juggernaut already. Have to put this away now, because Juggernaut hires my cooldown by 100%, and that 100% is not an option anymore with the Vampiric Power, because that adds already some seconds to our dash cooldown, and if you then 100% that, that's too much. So Juggernaut plus meta is not an option. These are not all the changes. We're getting something for Blight, Blood Surge, and Sever, and I'll update you on this as soon as we get more information. And our minions are getting buffed beyond belief. Well, I mean, they finally might be getting somewhat useful. They get the damage increased by 20% baseline. Doesn't really mean much. Health increase is nice, and Hellbound Commander bonus is a measly 15% more. I guess to have or not to have. Interesting part is if you now get 3 more points in Hellbound Commander, it's 15, 30, 45 now, and then it's going to be 60, 75, 90% in total. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Cult Leader Legendary Note gives you now 15% multiplier instead of 10. This should have been at least 20, if not 30, because minions still don't do any damage. Now they changed the corporal glyph. Corporal Glyph gives you 10% physical damage bonus and then a 1% movement speed for each active minion. That is factually useless for 95% of all builds, but for the 1 or 2 minion builds that play Ring of Mendel, especially now with the meta vampiric power again and Tybalt's Will, Mendel is getting somewhat more interesting once more. Most important, if you're playing Reapers, you finally get the bonus corpses you're looking for. With more changes to come in Season 4, they didn't tell us that much about Season 4, but at least they're working on something, because last time we asked them about minions, their reaction was, we don't know. Now coming back to the topic of the Gauntlet, we do see here the Necro just flying through it and barely taking any point of damage. This is a tier 70 dungeon. Tier 70 dungeons don't do any damage. If you have like 10, 11k armor, we might consider that playing the Litless Wall is completely useless here. Right now we're playing the Litless Wall to have our Bone Storm continuously up to be in a good position. Now, Bone Storm with Decrepify is mostly up anyways every 10 seconds, and the 20% bonus crit chance we're getting, I'm currently sitting at 40% without Bone Storm active. And as my Grasping Veins hit, I'm sitting at 70%. Don't really need the 20% bonus from the Litless Wall. Kind of like a win more at this point. Can get rid of my pants then, which is currently damage reduction to get Tybalt's Will, correct? And then on my offhand, we can even work for another offensive aspect. Hell, I might even be able to get rid of the Lucky Hit Circle of Exposed Flesh, which has a chance to get me that 50 essence. But if every dash now gives me 50 essence, I have 3 dashes, and they might have only 5 seconds higher cooldown. Then we have another 2 more damaging aspects open. Currently, we're playing the aspect of Serration and Grasping Veins as our offensive ones. With the Litless Wall leaving, we can use a focus like this. Critical strike chance, lucky hit chance, 4 more corpses, lucky hit chance while barrier, ignore that, and cooldown reduction. I mean, this alone is another 20% cooldown reduction, pushing Bone Storm down by 12 seconds, just like that. And giving us another 6.3%, right now at 44.1% critical strike chance. I don't need the Bone Storm permanently up anymore with the Litless Wall. And with the offhand in, I can play the Ossified Essence key passive, which would give me another 40% critical strike multiplier on my Bone Spears, together with the gazillions we're doing with the Black River corpse explosions. That might lead to even more damage. And now we get the ring left open to add another offensive aspect, which in this case could simply be the Edge Master giving us another 20% multiplier when we're shooting with max resource, and then we dash 50 resource from our Tybalt's Will, maximum resource, cast, dash, maximum resource, cast, continuously having that bonus up. Now boosting our damage even more lethal to then have us just zoom through the Gauntlet like there's no tomorrow. You see, there is options there. What we're going to do is we're going to be testing this in normal tier 70 dungeons, all these changes, to see how well would they actually do. Because when we have tier 70s, and Gauntlet is factual tier 70 dungeon damage and dungeon life, we can test the whole thing and see if it works here in the live streams. Yes, we do live streams on this channel. Check them out. They're fantastic. As soon as the patch notes are there, another update video. What build are you most excited about to try in the leaderboard in the Gauntlet? There is a shadow build I want to go for. There is minions with maximum movement speed and the Ring of Mendel I wish to bring to the table. It could be interesting. We'll see, and we'll have to try. Now, if you want to see that full nuclear Necromancer tacked out, that is the exact video you're looking for.